Nigeria. This is so obnoxious that if God looks down from heaven, you realize that we are really paying for our sins.
Speak your truth and be heard on the Eagles Morning Rise, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eagles 102.3 FM, your radio experience you can count on. From Milky Way to Earth, everywhere there's internet, you can connect with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Log on to our website, www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our apps on your Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on.
All right, a very good morning to you once again. It's 5 minutes gone past 9 a.m. Apologies for starting the show late. And I like to say, or believe rather, that you had a great time with Vicky Vic, the sports minister, on radio. Well, it's time for us to talk politics and current affairs. My name is Omohefe Peace Osemere, and on Eagles Outlook this morning, just like I hinted before now, that the focus is going to be on the economy. Yes, we're looking at the economy this morning on the program, right? And the topic actually is the reduction in the prices of essentials ahead of Ramadan. Reduction in the prices of essentials ahead of Ramadan. I mean, how realistic is this? Is it just a statement we're hearing, on paper or seeing, and also reading on paper or even hearing on the news? Is that what is really, obtainable across markets and even on the streets? Now, we're going to be having this conversation this morning with an economist and also lead researcher at Pole Eco Analytics, the person of Adefolarin Olamilekon. He will be joining us live via telephone this morning to look at what the issues are. And just a couple of days ago, the president actually scored himself high, taking a look at the fact that he actually got that vote of confidence, from NEC members at the meeting that was held earlier this week, right, at the banquet hall, even though that actually sparked a lot of reactions, but that is not the focus this morning. All right. And the truth is, in Nigeria, it is no longer news that at this time of the year, or in view of the Ramadan ritual, for the Muslim faithfuls, or the Christmas celebration for Christians, even Easter, a celebration as well, there's usually a spike in the cost of, foodstuffs and other essentials. Now, what we are hearing now is completely different from what, we had recorded in the past. Now, we understand that the prices of, foodstuffs, they're already crashing or maybe dropping, if you like, as it was reported on February 26th. Just 2 days ago. Now, Nigeria's a cost of living crisis has eased for the first time since President Tinubu assumed office in May 2023, offering an unexpected respite for households and the possibility of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN's interest rate cut in the next Monetary Policy Committee meeting. A survey of major markets in Nigeria, it was gathered that the average prices of some key staples declined in February 2025, easing the burden on cash-strapped, Nigerians who have been dealing with accelerating inflation since the 2020 pandemic. Some markets we actually visited across the country. In Lagos, for example, Nigeria's economic capital, findings actually revealed that the average price of a 50 kg bag of foreign parboiled rice now sells for 85,000 naira, and that's actually depending on the brand and the size of the grain, as against the 110,000 naira it was sold for 5 months ago. And also a 50 kg of local parboiled rice now sells for an average of 95,000 naira in the city, compared to 105,000 naira it was sold for 3 months ago. The price of a big basket of fresh tomatoes has dropped 70% in Lagos, from an average of 120,000 naira to 35,000 naira. Well, in 2024, Nigerians could not afford to buy tomatoes. I mean, is that really news to you now? Even onions, owing to the price surge that forced consumers to opt for alternatives like banga and paste, combined with dried pepper and beetroot. Let me quickly introduce my guest who's already live on the line. Good morning to you, Mr. Adefolarin. Are you there, Mr. Adefolarin? Good morning to you. Hello? Mr. Adefolarin, are you there? Good morning. All right. I really can't tell what's going on this morning, but best believe we're going to have this conversation regardless of what the network is saying. Now, Nigeria's economic recovery has been a topic of discussion in recent years. The country, experienced its deepest, recession in 4 decades in 2020, with a GDP, decline of 1.86%. However, with the easing of COVID-19 restrictions, oil prices recovering, and all, the implementation of sensible policies was developed by the previous administration to tackle the causes of the recession and transform the national economic, trajectory. Now, the plan, aimed to achieve sustained inclusive growth, structural economic transformation, and improved efficiency in both public and private sectors. Now, President Bola Tinubu's recent declaration that Nigeria is on the path to economic recovery, citing a drop in food prices, has sparked a national conversation. Now, stakeholders, including policymakers, economists, and citizens, are already weighing in on the issue. Now, while some argue that the government's economic policies are yielding results, others actually believe that more needs to be done to address the country's economic challenges. Now, whilst I make efforts to link up with my guest, that's the person of Adefolarin and Olamilekon, thoughts as to what you make of the topic of discussion this morning. And just to let you in as well that the conversation is being streamed on Facebook, on YouTube at the moment at Eagles FM Abuja. So I'd like to encourage you to join us across these platforms now to share your thoughts on the topic of discussion. Yes, what are your thoughts as we look at Nigeria's economy and the recent, declaration by the president that indeed the economy is on the right path, and whatever trend that we are seeing right now, can it really be sustained? Can it really be sustained? I think that's one question too that we should be very, very heavy on or particular about. Adefolarin is on the line now. Good morning to you, Mr. Adefolarin. Can you hear me, Mr. Adefolarin?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Good morning.
All right. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, man.
All right. Okay, so this morning, we saw the news concerning Aliko Dangote, reducing or slashing, the price of fuel ahead of Ramadan. But, there are disparities, yes, somewhat. I mean, one would say, in Lagos, in the southwest, in the north, in the south, and the southeast. And just a couple of days ago, we made to understand that the prices of foodstuffs and other essentials are already dropping ahead of the holy month of Ramadan. But this wasn't really the trend some years ago. Just wondering at this point in time, how much of a leverage is this going to be for the average Nigerian on the street, and is this really something to go by or even hold on to as Nigerians?
I think there is a misplacement and misinterpretation of what is really happening.
first and foremost, there is no relationship between the so-called dropping of food prices and the Ramadan season or Ramadan prayer section fasting period that is coming. There is no correlation about that. That's one. Then number two, Dangote reduced the reduction in ex-depot price of its fuel doesn't also have any relationship with that, either fasting or Ramadan stuff that is coming. That has nothing to do. Let's take an empirical review of some of these things that actually will be leading to reduction in food price, particularly commodity food price, like staple agricultural food commodity like beans, corn, and the rest of them. What has happened is this. Let's take to the fuel for instance. Now, what we are seeing on international market, we are seeing a very drop in the price of crude oil. As I speak right now, Brent crude oil and WTI, that means Western Texaco crude oil, their price is dropping. As of this morning, WTI, that is Western Texaco oil, is $69 per barrel, where Brent, the most popular crude oil in the market on international scene, has dropped to $73 per barrel. And there's possibility that it will further drop to like $70 per barrel. Meanwhile, the OPEC basket, which belongs to the Nigerian Bonny Light crude oil, is also dropping. As of last week, it was $78, but as I speak to you right now, it's dropping as low as $74 per barrel. So that has played a significant role in the dropping of ex-depot price of Dangote PMS as we speak right now. Then, on the other hand, there's also the growth in Dangote PMS production. He has produced a lot that need to be taken out of his storehouse. So if he doesn't take them out of his storehouse, that means we'll be having so much production. And you know, on daily basis, Dangote produce about 25 million liters of PMS from his refinery. So imagine you producing 25 million liters every day, and it is not all the Nigerian oil marketing company that is taking your product. With them, you have excess. So if you don't drop the price, there's no way they will come and pick up what you do. That's on the other hand for the PMS from Dangote angle. Now, on the aspect of food commodities, the staple food that is dropping, you can also see that there's a little drop in the price of transportation.
A little drop?
If you yes, in the transportation of lorries that normally pick some of those
food items.
Food items from the far, not from the far farm area. And the reason was that because the price of diesel also dropped from 1,003 to 1,100 naira. But the challenge we are having is that how can all the price of that is dropping translate? Because at the point they are dropping is at the point of order. People who store those food who now discover that if they don't sell those food out now, it may get rotting, it may get spoiled. Most Nigerians who are dropping their price, they were all between August and December last year. People ordered food from farmers. They ordered rice, they ordered beans, they ordered corn, they all manner of food items, staple food. They store it far away from the market. Now they're now discovering that the farming season is approaching. That's one. Then two, most of those products are now getting spoiled. And three, government that normally do uptake from those sort of people, government fail to go and buy from them. So they are not discovering that if they don't sell it out at this point in time, they may end up losing their money. And if you remember, what is it reached to the point whereby ordinary Nigerians can get the price of those food as cheap, as affordable as possible. And I'll give you the reason. Reason is this. Now, if those products come from Kano, from Maiduguri, let's say beans now come from Adamawa and come into Masaka market or come into Ose market. Now, those people will buy it as wholesaler. Now, wholesaler will sell it to a retailer. And we have different scale of retailer in Nigeria. We have household retailer. People, all those women that sell in front of houses or sell beside the houses that own shop. Now, we also have market retailers. Now, these people will not reduce the price unit of Mudu. For instance, Gary that is bought from Benue, they are selling Gary at 40,000 naira back. Now, they say it has dropped to 30,000 to 28,000 naira. But guess what? The Mudu of Gary is still being sold for 1,000 naira. The reason because the retailer, the informal retailer that are selling beside our houses are not ready to shade the price. They still want to maintain the price of that 1,000 naira per mudu. I'll give you another good example. Cooking spices.
Yeah.
The popular one that we know, the spices that we know, their prices have dropped from the manufacturer side. The pack is now less than 2,000 naira. But guess what? They are still selling 4 cubes of Maggi or any of those 100 naira. But meanwhile, the price have dropped. And these people selling all these things are people that are selling beside our houses. They are not in the market per se, but those ones selling in shops within your area where you stay. Close to where
reduce the price of whatever commodity it is that he or she is selling. And you've been able to highlight a number of points. Some of these staples that are the prices have now crashed or dropped is as a result of maybe the farmers or the traders who actually hoarded these things. They are scared of these things getting rotten, so they want to get rid of them as quickly as possible. And also that the farming season is actually fast approaching. I mean, it actually rained yesterday, and we understand that it's been raining across the country. I mean, looking at other states in the south, for example. So farmers are indeed getting ready now to hit the ground, running in that regards. But in terms of hoarding, do we really have measures or mechanisms in place to check this idea of hoarding, foodstuff in such a way that when the demand for that particular staple is now high, the consumer is now at the mercy of the seller? How do we check this trend of, hoarding in Nigeria?
Government has tried to eliminate the middlemen. The holding are caught by middlemen, and government has tried as much as possible to eliminate them. But you know what? It is this thing we Nigerians that normally shout on government that say, why are you killing people doing business? Nigeria is a capitalist system, so they should allow people to free entry. Because on a good note, one of the ways that government wants to eliminate them is to buy those products as uptaker. All the silos that you see that is being built around Nigeria, those silos are meant for government to pick those products directly from the farmers and put in those silos and store, then bring it out when necessary, as either as palliative or as whatever. But it is discovered that it is the same Nigerians that kick against such activities whereby the national government is one destroying businesses. They don't want middlemen to exist. And these middlemen are Shylock individuals who just want to make profit at any point in time. Then the ordinary Nigerians like you and I will now have to live at their mercy. But on the other hand, we can't stop government, and we must encourage them to continue to eliminate this set of people in our midst, because if they don't, then the price of goods cannot be controlled. Although people are also kick against price control, which would have been another method or measure that government would have controlled some of these things. So people say no, government should not introduce price control. And even the current government of the day also is not interested in price control. And that's why I see that nobody is talking about price control. But the key issue remains that at this point in time, that the middlemen who are causing this hoarding, they are businessmen, they are hoarding it for a fact that they want to make profit. That's one. Then two, they're also causing that hoarding it as a fact to also cause injuries to Nigeria, because the more you create artificial scarcity by hoarding food, the more expensive it becomes. Before now, there's this argument that it was because of high cost of transportation. That's why food are very expensive.
Right.
So we are now discovering it was not because of that. It was partly as a factor. Hoarding of those foods by middlemen is also a factor that caused the high cost of food. Then they also went as far as saying it was insecurity, people cannot go to farm. We also discovered that it was not because people cannot go to farm, but rather people have now found a means of buying these food and keeping them from the market so that people will not need to buy as cheaply as possible. If you go around market now, you can see cashew everywhere.
Right.
Cashew is everywhere now. Mango is already coming. Just 2 days back, my mother-in-law just came back from our own farm in Nasarawa, where she went and prepared her land for farming, which was part of what they normally do before farming season. You go and prepare your land for farming,
right,
clear the grass, all those things. They are preparing that. But we have not discovered that it is not because of insecurity that food is very expensive in Nigeria. It is not because of high cost of transportation. Although we are not dismissing the fact that it's a factor, but we are not discovering that all these staple food is a major determinant that is causing high cost of food in Nigeria, particularly among urban areas, like Abuja, like Lagos, and the rest of them. You will see trailers moving every day on the highway with bag of beans, and
onions, tomato, pepper, and the rest.
So where are these farm food are coming from?
Okay, Mr. Defalarin, these middlemen, it appears that they've been in existence for quite some time now. And I mean, one is just wondering at this point in time, is it possible that this will have the backing of maybe some strong forces, and that's the reason why they are not even, relenting at all in terms of making life somewhat difficult? Because for you now, what you just said is more like a revelation that beyond what we hear on radio and television, that insecurity is the reason why there is food, scarcity and what have you, in the sense that farmers are finding it difficult to go to farm, all right, and maybe the high transportation cost. But now you say that the price of diesel had actually reduced, to some extent, and so it's not really an impediment anymore. But if we're going to blame the middlemen solely, but first of all, who are the middlemen? And then do you really think that they have some sort of strong, backing or force, and that's the reason why they're not going to stop any moment or any time soon?
If I give you the revelation of who are middlemen, you'll be shocked. One,
who are the middlemen?
You know why? One, most of them, they behave like, if you remember when we were talking about hoarding of dollars, that is how middlemen behave. They are associations. Most of them are found association of agriculture, all these farmers associations, and the rest of them.
Right.
They are middlemen. And the clear terms they use is storage. They call it storage business. They don't use middlemen. They call it storage business. And storage business is not illegal in Nigeria. It is agreed. It is accepted that we can have storage business. But they are doing it beyond reasonable way that it is not an injury to the economy of Nigeria. And that's why they now become sabotage. Now, when people are doing storage business, most of these people who are members of this storage business community are farmers association members. They are big men, they are politicians. All these people will normally call political farmers. That's
right.
what they are doing. If you have heard a political farmer, they will buy 1,000 hectares somewhere in another state or in Benin State. They will be doing small farming. But guess what? What they are doing majorly is storage, not real farming. These are the guys that will go to CBN and form association and go to begin to terrorize government that they are the real farmers, that they want to get those storage things, those fertilizer to farmers. Anyway, what they do is that the moment this government gives them anything, they give to those farmers and they collect in exchange those products that those farmers are bringing and they store it. So most of those farmers associations, either cassava rice farmers, either sugarcane farmers, they are the ones that do storage. And we can't take it from that. They are the ones that do storage in Nigeria.
Okay, but is it possible that the government, right, because there should be some sort of monitoring team, but is it possible that they are ignorant of, the existence of these political farmers and, the lots that you've been able to, highlight?
No, everybody knows that they are all available. Most of them, if you hear any politician say, I have a farm, knows that he's doing farming and he's also doing storage, because storage gives them money. If you hear any politician say, I have a farm somewhere, just know that he's also doing what they call storage.
Okay.
That is it. Any politician that say, I'm a farmer, know that what he's doing as part of his farming business is storage. And they are everywhere. Even somebody who is close to you and I, some of them are doing it because it's like a form of a store of wealth. You can have 100,000, 200,000, just call somebody in your village and say, please, so anytime they are harvesting cocoyam, please buy and store for me. That is the form of storage. Store for me for the next 3 months, then bring it out when you know that it is needed. And that's what is happening. And those are the people that form the middlemen. But those political farmers that we are talking about, some of them don't go to the farm direct. They have agents who does this for them on daily basis or monthly basis or seasonal basis as harvest approach. So that's what it is. Not that government doesn't know most of them. Like the Minister of Livestock that just came, he just did a conference recently. The people that attended those conferences, who are they? They are farmers associations that are majorly into the practice of food storage. But they will claim they are farmers. So what do you expect? And government knows them. They know that if they don't, that they exist. But the only thing is that they also know that there exist as a form of engaging with government, but the detriment of what they are doing is what they cannot really pass on, and they cannot even fight against, because there are part and parcel of people that will come against the government. You can see what is happening in tax reform bill. The same people that are saying that government should raise money, government should raise revenue, they are the ones saying that government should not raise revenue in certain sector of the economy because it is detriment to the economy of Nigeria. And you begin to ask your first question. I think me and you guys discussed that some 3 days back, talking about the free trade zone. Meanwhile, the administration will be telling that government should raise money, government should do this, but the same administration will also come and say government should not raise money in certain sector of the economy. Is that not double speaking? And that's what happened across Nigerian sector of the economy.
Well, it appears the issues bedeviling Nigeria's economy, they are hydra-headed. But at this point in time, Mr. Adefolarin, of what use is the price, drop, when it comes to foodstuff and some of the essentials, when transportation cost in its entirety is still stagnant?
No, you know the reason why the transport cost will still be stagnant at this point. See, the businesses of particularly transport, when they said the diesel was very expensive, now nobody was telling us at that time that engine oil was expensive. Nobody was telling us that time that tire, to buy new tire is very expensive. Nobody was telling us other aspects, other parts of the vehicle is very expensive. All everybody was shouting was that a diesel was very expensive. Now that diesel have not come down, a typical driver, a typical transporter will not tell you that it's the only diesel they are buying. They are changing engine oil, they are buying batteries, that they are now putting other factors that they're supposed to be telling us together before into mix. And that one has been forced as a result of foreign exchange, because most of those products are not produced in Nigeria, imported. So that one price is now transmitted into the cost of transport, and that's why the price of transport is still very static. It has not really come down as expected. But as time goes on, as the Naira exchange get more value, as Naira gets its value among foreign currencies, definitely there will be a change in that aspect, and it will definitely affect cost of transport to come down or to just maintain a stable that is more affordable for Nigerians.
All right, Mr. Adefolarin, now let you have hold your thoughts. We'll go pay some bills. When we come back, we'll, beam our searchlight on the currency market to see how sustainable the gains that the Naira has been making in recent times. And also how that would, rub off on, the nation's inflation rate in the long run. Do stay with us.
All right. Thank you.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Shin kun san cewa hanya ɗaya don samun aikin injin ku yadda ya kamata ita ce ta hanyar sayan mai inganci. Shi yasa matatar man Dangote ta tace muku man fetur zuwa RON, wato tsaftataccen mai wanda shine ingantaccen man fetur ɗin da zaka iya dogaro ko amincewa da shi a dukkanin injinanku. Lokaci yayi da za ku kula da injinanku, sai man Dangote mai inganci.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just
20,000 naira?
Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. Hurry now.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Do you want to know about cars? Everything about cars, from purchase to maintenance and even road use. Don't go too far. Listen to Top Gear on Eagles 102.3 FM every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Top Gear, let's give you a spin.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable.
Eagles 102.3.
Right, we're back. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is Eagles Outlook live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. And on the show this morning, we are looking at Nigeria's economy, basically the reduction in the prices of essentials ahead of Ramadan. And I have been speaking with my guest. He is Adefolarin Olamilekon, an economist and also lead researcher at Pole Eco Analytics. Mr. Adefolarin, thank you so much for staying with us.
Thanks for having me, and a very good morning once again to our listener out there.
Right. And to the listener out there who's probably itching to share, his or 2 cents on this very topical issue, I should quickly hand down the studio numbers for you to call 0908 766 8888 or 0907 353 0044. You can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal number on 0909 705 4450. Mr. Adefolarin, I'm afraid we just have to take some calls now, so please listen very attentively. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Bibi Blessing.
Yeah, you are very welcome to this our guest. My name is Bibi Blessing. I'm calling from Osako.
Right, good to have you.
You know where they call for radio, where they see, but I say, me where are they able to say, and I fight, are they able to fight for people now? So they go tell us, say, price of things, you don't call that for Lagos. But if Abuja, your price of things never call down, we never see what you don't call down. And with the Eta market yesterday. Come up pepper 200 naira now you cannot start at the market. I go market yesterday, I say, may I see what is the apple? Give me pepper 200 naira. They give me 3 pepper. They say pepper no day. Now motor they take bigger cost. I know what they cost all gas for our Nigeria. If our president tackle issue of security, this we go there, okay, we go even forget about fuel. Because where people they go from now, money day. You take and they buy something, you don't go think whether for they whether for no day. But I know say because of fuel, now make this they increase. Any woman will go back, do you know so you know they see you go 500 naira for market? If you go see you go 500 naira for market, you go where they say 30 naira before. Now be 1,000 now, now be 500 naira. Okay, when you ask woman why it costs like that, you say na motor it take. Okay, to go Kubaye for NPC, you drive and go carry you 800 naira, 400 naira before. If you talk, they say fuel don't come down. So all this the day when they talk for radio, make they come outside, make they go meet people where they say, and make they go shop provisions of the people where they say provisions of how much they say they go know how to hold us accountable. But whoever we just carry news to come for radio, nobody they listen for us. They say this don't order, this don't order. They don't work out our market. This is like that come down. Make they bring the price of oil come down. Two things now we go tackle for us. Issue of security and issue of fair. If you tackle these 2 things, president will do well. God bless your mercy. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Bibi Blessing, for calling to share your thoughts. I mean, Adefolarin, isn't that a point to the fact that the narrative you just dismissed, a while ago, is still very much in existence, that insecurity, the transportation cost of moving this farm produce, from one location to the other is the reason why things are pretty much, expensive. But let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning to you.
Morning, Eagles FM. How are we today?
Very well, thank you. What's your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Livingstone and I'm calling from Wusi.
Livingstone, good to have you. Please go ahead.
I can only sympathize with the government of the day. In 2016, I did several proposals just to back up what your guest is talking about. Nigerians are the problems we have in this country. It does not go around. These middlemen we're talking about are just the pain of the challenges we have as far as inflation and food is concerned. Because you see, our agriculture is a local product, for God's sake. You don't need forex to deal in agriculture here. Maybe for fertilizer, that component that government subsidizes per time. But you see, the farmers don't even have much to contribute to this issue. It is the middlemen. They approach these farmers at their volatile level during school resumption dates, during Christmas, during Ramadan, during Salah, and they entice them with peanuts, buy all these things, stock them up in God knows where, and then deny the populace of the opportunity to have a cost-reflective produce. What am I trying to say? Okay, if you use, for instance, the government's intervention in the CNG, for God's sake, I've tried to fly the Uber or the boat once in a while, and I know for sure that more than 60% of the people who run these Uber businesses have been converted to the CNG. Why have movement not reduced? Because these guys are bent on frustrating whatever effort the government is making. And this is sad because we're not dealing with ourselves, fellow Nigerians. And it cuts across. I agree with your guest there that people don't just want to see these reforms work and I can just pitch it the government.
All right.
There are a lot of things we can do at our own levels to see that Nigeria gets better. And I hope we start doing them. Good morning.
Good morning, Livingstone. Thank you so much for your contribution. Right. Well, really a lot to talk about. I mean, with so much to take in. The numbers to call are still 0908-766-8888 or 0907-353-0044. Send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal number on 0909-705-4450. So basically, we are hearing that prices of foodstuffs, are already dropping or reducing. Now, how realistic is that? And what are you hearing? What are you seeing? Or what are your observations? All right. I mean, when you go to the market to buy or to even sell, what is obtainable across these markets? Let's hear from you really this morning as to what you make of these, price reduction that we are hearing about, and how sustainable is it? I think that is one question too, Mr. Defolari, we need to be very intentional about. We shouldn't shy away from whatever it is, the implication of this whole reduction in the prices of essentials and whether or not this will be able to stand the test of time. But, whilst we wait for, calls to come in, let's, tilt towards the currency market now. We've seen the inflation rate, drop drastically. I mean, one would say, because I use the word drastically because when you look at what it was as a last year to what we've seen, I mean, talking about the latest figures, it's quite drastic, and it's somewhat pointed to the resolution of the Tinubu-led administration to make sure that inflation drops to as low as 15% this year. But when you look at the chain of activities in this month of February that's coming to an end today, or what we saw in the month of January, what is most likely going to be the latest figures, or what's going to be the figures we're going to be expecting from the NBS, in the coming weeks?
I think very interesting. The figures won't be that much different from what they had. It dropped by 10%. It was 34.88% as of December. Because now the basic exercise now bringing different fora of economic sector of the economy of Nigeria that are also performing, and that's why they're able to look at that areas and be able to calculate with the new method that now gives 24% inflation at this point in time. But going forward, what will be added to what we are currently will not be much if NBS to look at the current reality of what has happened. But going by the excess of the current food dropping that is also being experienced, and this food drop price that we're seeing is not across board. It is majorly in the north. The majority of the food basket market, what we call books market, where we normally pick some of those bags of rice, bag of
tomatoes,
corn, bag of beans,
pepper, onions,
in Kaduna and the rest of in Kaduna, maize and onions in Kaduna, in Katsina, and that's why those products are dropping. But the challenge that we are now facing is by the time those products will be transported from those markets to other parts of the country, other parts of the state, then there will be change in price. That's when they will not be asking for the transportation and the cost of transportation that will be added to the price unit of those products. Now, for the NBS report that will be coming up short in less than 2 weeks from now, what we'll be seeing in terms of inflation figure for February may not be much in terms of what we are seeing for January. We have 24 for January. We may not have less than 25 for February. Going by the information and current reality of the price drop in food, particularly food items. And also look at the performance of the Naira exchange rate. In the last 2 months, CBN has maintained the 1,500 Naira for the Naira. Just yesterday it was 1,499 Naira. The day before yesterday it was 1,495 Naira. So CBN is working as much as assiduous to ensure that Naira remains stable between the benchmark that the federal government has set for in the 2025 budget, which is 1,500 Naira. And you also remember that what CBN is targeting is to have a lesser than 200 Naira difference between black market and official price. Official price as of today is between 1,400 Naira to 1,500 Naira, where black market is between 1,600 to 1,700. So for now, CBN is achieving its goal of bridging the gap of not less than 200 Naira between the official price of Naira exchange to the black market price that we normally have. And so all this will be worked on to now bring the figure for the February 2025 NBS inflation rate, which will not be more in number. Highest I'm projecting is 25%, or 25.70 or 25.80%.
Okay, so the gains that we've been able to record in the currency market, how well can we sustain these gains? And would it be right to say that the gains are not really too significant?
You are correct to say it's not significant because there are two things that is happening in the currency market. Now, government is trying as much as possible to maintain a stable Naira exchange that is not above 1,500 officially. Meanwhile, on the black market is between 1,600, 1,650, 1,700, depending on your location. If you're in Abuja, you can get it at black market for 1,650. If you're in Lagos, you can get it for 1,620. If you're in far off in Port Harcourt, in other states, you can get it for 1,000, depending on the location. But officially, CBN has been able to achieve a difference between black market and official market, not less than 200 Naira. But on the other hand, is the government trying as much as possible to increase our foreign reserve. And increasing our foreign reserve, as of today, it is 39.80 billion US dollar. And the target of the CBN is to hit 60 billion before the end of 2025. And hitting 60 billion means they will do more work in the area of, in these three areas. One, they will sell treasury papers. Treasury papers are called NTBI. NTBI are national treasury paper, where the government sells treasury papers through the CBN to raise money for the government. Now, there's also the DMO, where government sells bonds paper. So those ones will also help government to raise money. Then they also need to encourage FPI, foreign portfolio investment, into the country. And those foreign portfolio investments will look at two areas in Nigeria economy to come and invest their money: the bonds paper and the NTBI. That means the treasury paper. And these are the three areas that CBN will now raise more dollars and put in our foreign reserve. But guess what? After putting all this money in our foreign reserve, every 3 months, every 2 months, they'll be paying these guys interest. Ask me, where are they going to get the interest from? It is from the foreign reserve.
Okay.
Now, and that's one thing. Then people who are doing importation, just last week, one of the popular economists said CBN spent $8 billion to defend the Naira. You have heard about the story. Now, the defense of the Naira was not wastage. The defense of the Naira was to ensure that people who are doing importation get more dollars to do importation, and CBN also pay its obligation to the investors in the Nigerian market. And those are what happened. So not that the money was wasted. So those are the things that would normally happen, whereby government is chasing to stabilize the Naira on one hand, is also spending more to ensure that that stabilization is sustained.
Okay, let's really take a message from the WhatsApp portal. Abbas reporting from Duse says, good morning, Omoife. I'm glad price is coming down, even beyond what you read out. It would be possible it could further drop more in the future. Why I'm glad again is that those who blame subsidy removal for the surge, in the prices and commodities in the market can now see, subsidy was never responsible for these increases. Let us always be patient with some government policies. Furthermore, if price continue to go down, Nigerian economy will experience a drop in inflation. In line with this, I'll plead with the Central Bank of Nigeria not to tamper with interest rates for now, so that Nigeria's manufacturing sector will experience some level of stability in production of goods and services. And also, I'd like to plead with Dangote to help drop the price of kerosene for ordinary Nigerians. At 1,500 naira for kerosene is still too high. This is Abbas reported from Duse. Now, Mr. Adefolarin, I know that economists, they've actually been calling, for a halt in, the interest rate hike. I mean, there should be a pause for now. But is that something that we're going to be, maintaining in the long run, or you think it's just a matter of time before the CBN would rescind this decision and continue with the aggressive, hike in interest rate?
There are three things CBN made mention why they maintained the interest rate at 27.50. They said one was the recent rebasing of the Nigerian inflation that gives them the opportunity to maintain the status quo of 27.50. And you could remember that CBN has always been out to say that the reason why they are aggressively increasing interest rates was to fight inflation. But now, there is no reason to fight inflation because inflation is now lower than 30%, which is at 24% as we have.
24.4.
That's one. Then two, yes. Then two, they also made mention that fiscal policies need to collaborate with monetary policy to work. So what they are expecting from the government is that the spending power of the government to relate with the monetary policy of the government, which means that as government is spending, they should be very wise not to spend beyond what they can accommodate or what they can tolerate, so that they will not cause problem of overfloating of the currency across the country. If you understand what I mean?
Right.
Is that when there is too much money according to CBN, then there will be inflation also. So that's why they are saying government to be able to maintain a stable and maintain a very stabilized spending, so that they will not cause too much of liquidity in the system. And that will bring us to the issue of borrowing by government, either by means and ways and the rest of them. Then we can also talk about global tension across the world. And if our CBN is increasing their interest rate, they are looking at two things. One, what is happening to CBN across the world? What are the things that the other CBN across the world are doing in terms of their rate? They look at that. So the the Reserve Bank of US now increase its interest rate. Definitely they want to increase interest rate in Nigeria. If the Bank of Europe, European Bank, increase interest rate, then the CBN will also want to increase interest rate. If Bank of England increase interest rate, then the CBN want to increase interest rate. But if all those other banks maintain their rate, definitely CBN will not also increase interest. Those are the three major factors they made mention why they maintain the 27% by 27.50 they are maintained so far this year.
All right, Mr. Adefolarin. Well, you've been able to really reveal a lot really in the course of this conversation. But Ramadan, starts tomorrow or next, depending on when the moon is sighted and even reported. But let's take this call before I, ask you the next question. Hello, good morning to you. Yes. Baby blessing.
I'll invite our guests for the radio station there. Please, whether I don't know all these people whether they check our phone date now. Something about to trade for our country, Nigeria, which is no good. Please, make the check out where we do it now.
Okay.
The way they say they take the preserve back now, that they use snapper, they preserve back, and it's no good. It's not good. People they are sick. We don't know what they make people they sick.
That's right.
Now we don't hear this thing. I don't see where they use sick. They so kakmu. I don't even know where they use detergent. They so kakmu. Do you know when you dey eat akmu and you go say they eat? Go they make your belly go they wire you. You go akmu for how they eat but go they wire you. Now that make they call they check this food where we dey. It couldn't mineral what people they drink. Now this active mineral. I say go beg them now that make they do their work. Make they not bribe them. People begin they die. I know so when they catch person they go bribe their money. They go shut up. Please, make they not use the snapper preserve akmu for us again anymore. Please.
All right.
I beg.
Thank you very much, Abibi Blessing, for drawing our attention to that. And to say that when NAFDAC eventually, gets a hold of those who are complicit, they bribe them with money and they let them go. I mean, that is not true because you don't have the facts. And indeed, I think NAFDAC has been able to call the attention of Nigerians to that the way akpu or fufu is being, prepared now it actually calls for concern. So people should be very vigilant, right? Turkey Mihundu sent in a message and it says, good morning. If I'm in Nasarawa State, prices are not coming back anywhere in Nasarawa State. Common pepper of 200 naira is 4 pieces. From New Yaya Junction to Maraba, just 300 naira fare. Where is this information coming from? As long as transport fare, exchange rate, etc. are high, prices won't come down easily. Adefalarin, this is what a listener or a contributor is saying, that what we're hearing in the news is completely different from what is obtainable, across the market. And again, it's just, a testament to what you have revealed. I call it an expose because, that is a narrative that has been sold to us over time. The transportation cost of bringing this farm produce, from the farm to the market, the diesel, the bad roads, the bottlenecks, the middlemen, and what have you. But at the end of the day, Adefola, because time is not our friend, are we really making headway in terms of making life quite easy for Nigerians at all?
I think practically we are not, both from the government side and from the general public side. Now, that our colleague that sends message from New Yanya, you should understand that he's living in a city center. New Yanya is still close to the city center. It's far away from, he's been saying Nasarawa, or maybe I would say maybe in one of the Eden local government in Nasarawa, but he's living in Kau local government, which is very close to Abuja.
Okay.
You expect transportation and things to be very expensive. I was also encouraging him that you should watch out. That pepper that says about 200 naira, you should count how many trailers of packing pepper following that Kefi Express road that is in Yanya and see where they are taking this pepper to. That's one assignment I will give that person, because he's staying in a city center area. That's why things are very expensive. People who are enjoying this lesser price are staying in the interior part where most of these things come from. That's why they are giving us that information that things are coming down. But in the city center that most of us are saying, we are not seeing that particular drop.
So should we all relocate to rural areas to enjoy this drop in the prices of foodstuff?
That's why the price is dropping. But the only thing they also suffer there is transportation because of fuel.
All right.
So if you are ready to eat cheap food, be ready to also pay high cost of transport. Now, on the part of government that I say, some of these government policies that we are seeing, it will take time before it works. It will take time before it gets mature. But guess what? They are obstructions to the government policy. There are some people who doesn't want government policy to work to the advantage. Because if that government policy works, it means definitely everybody will be smiling. But it also means they will not smile. Particularly businessmen and women who are that see blessing saying something very, very sensitive. You should ask people selling things in the market, how come the price of their goods is not coming back? They don't want it to drop. On their own part, they don't want those prices to drop, and that is just the message.
Well, all right. We keep our fingers crossed. This is one developing trend, I must say. So let's see how things will actually unfold in the days to come. We definitely will come back to you for more conversations on this. Economist and lead researcher at Polico Analytics. I've been speaking with Adefolarin Olamilekan. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thanks for having me. A very good morning to all our listeners out there.
Right. And to the contributors on the show, those who called in, those who sent in messages, I'd like to say a very big thank you. For sharing your thoughts with us on the show this morning. And most importantly, I'd like to state that the views expressed were not influenced by Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. My name is Omoefe Peace Osemere. I'll be back with the business news.